So I didn't realize. I completely forgot um, that I actually put all of these in alphabetical order.
Nice. That's how OC you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is like from like P to S, you know,
Uh,
and I've got like, and I don't discriminate on movies that much. I love watching all kinds of movies. So from romantic comedies to chick
mm,
flicks to
mm,
documentary, whatever, sci-fi.
mm.
And I was just looking at this while waiting for you to log in, and I'm like, I flipped it open to the S.
Mm.
My favorite, one of my top three movies just popped up.
Yeah, I was
Shawshank.
about, I haven't seen that.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You've
I,
never seen Shawshank Redemption.
I was just looking at a little YouTube video or documentary about it the other day, about
Right,
the movie,
right.
about the storytelling and the writing and that kind of thing. And
It's
yeah, I was just thinking
amazing.
that it's one of those movies that I haven't seen.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah,
You need
yeah,
to watch this. You cannot move lose another month without watching it. I'm telling you
yeah,
this much. If you think you're a movie buff and whatnot, after watching this movie, you're gonna think like, wow, that's a pretty good movie. I'm
yeah.
gonna watch it again one of these days.
Yeah, I'm a videographer. I work with cameras, make movies. I'm ashamed of myself. I haven't seen that movie.
You're a fraud.
I'm a fraud. Yeah, I can't claim to be working in the industry and not have seen that movie yet. Sorry.
It's Morgan Freeman.
I
Uh
know.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm well familiar with it. And I know
And
what it's about. I know what the story arc is and blah blah
right.
blah and I just
You just never saw it.
yeah, it just never came around.
I don't understand how you cannot watch Shawshank. It's just not acceptable.
I don't know if there was anything else heavy or
I don't know.
particular points that you wanted to mention about
What?
anything else or what, but
What happened?
no no what I was just thinking was that the whole timing for me was wrong when I was when like around 2007 I was still working on a radio station like
Right.
hosting a show on TV here and there, like little, not enough to call myself a celebrity, but I was doing stuff, a working actor, so to speak,
Right.
and doing stuff on the microphone, working on the radio and everything. And then I just really got crazy into scuba diving, where I wanted to live in the beach, move myself to Boracay or Cebu or whatever,
So
and then
you were doing the entertainment business, and then all of a sudden just decided to
s-
do scuba
not
diving.
all of a sudden, but seriously considering, and I eventually did like drop like my TV and radio gig and like that, sort of slowly but surely trying to get into this whole scuba diving
Right.
lifestyle. Not just lifestyle as a hobby, but as a professional like instructor kind of thing. And
Have
I
you
never I
did
was
you have any experience in scuba diving?
oh no, I was already diving by like for like 4 years straight,
Ah,
amounting to like 200, 300 plus dives already. I was already pretty.
no kidding.
Yeah. I was like into technical scuba diving already and that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, sorry, before I get segued into the whole scuba diving thing, what I was getting at was my trajectory as far as career. I mean, it would have been perfect if I just stuck around with radio and entertainment and blah blah blah. And if I caught on with the social media thing where, Facebook just came out and YouTube also just came out,
Right.
if I stuck with that, I would have been one of the first, as far as land grab is concerned, I would have been one of the first people, first creators. You know what I mean?
Like a content creator.
Yeah, I would have been. Yeah, yeah, I would have been one of the first legit content creators if I just took it seriously. But I was one of those highbrow, yeah, I'm gonna go like live in the beach and be a scuba diver and
Right.
that kind of thing. Be in nature, and I just as putting the microphone and the camera down, I also put like the computer and the laptop and social media and that kind of thing. I wasn't really like, I didn't really see it for what it
Right.
was and what it is. I mean, not even a part of my life or not. It was still awkward for me and really clunky even until now.
Hmm.
So it was just one of those things where, imagine if I stuck with it
Where would
or
you
where
be
I,
right now? What
yeah,
would you be doing? Would you be doing this really stupid podcast?
yeah. And it was one of those things also back at the time where, if you talk so much on radio, and because I would always get like reprimanded by my station manager saying, you know what, Noel,
Talk too
you talk
much.
too much on the radio. We're supposed to be playing music.
Right.
Turn
Right.
off the mic. If you want to, keep the mic on, start a podcast.
Right.
Like, imagine if I did start a podcast. I could have been,
You're gonna
I
be
could
one
have
of the first ones ever.
accumulating, yeah, and going up against Joe Rogan,
Right.
accumulate all this audience just just because of time,
Right.
not
Right.
because any my content was any good or anything like that, or I had such a dazzling personality. Not even just because I was there, I would have amassed audience.
Right.
And
Right.
no. The only regret was I could have broadcasted my social media while I was on the radio,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
So, but
That's true.
no regrets in the sense that I followed my heart. I really wanted to do my scuba diving thing.
That's such a big jump, big change. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know how I discovered scuba diving too? It wasn't like always in the back of my mind. We were on the TV show and then we were looking for like what you can do for the summer kind of feature. We happened to be like in Boracay. We were
Ah,
looking for things to feature. The producer was my friend and it's like, "Hey, you want to try scuba diving?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And
that's
when
cool.
I popped my head back out of the water, it was a really uncomfortable experience. It was almost traumatic. My eyes almost popping out, felt like I was gonna drown. But I
Right.
was like, oh, that was fun. I don't want to get out of the water anymore. And because I was so into the gear and the whole technical part of it, and breathing into the water and that kind of thing.
That's that's interesting. How long did you do it for?
Well, I like to say that I'm still doing it now, except that I can't afford it. It's a pretty expensive sport, and
Oh,
I never
really?
really got my finances sorted out. Haven't been able to get my Jeep Gladiator yet, so which
Like,
would be
if
perfect.
you if you go dive, where do you usually go?
Oh, in Batangas, it's about 2 hours south from where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yeah. How much does it go per? I mean, does it cost per dive? Is it pretty expensive?
That's the funny thing about scuba diving. The diving activity itself is not expensive.
It's the gear.
Not even the gear.
So
It's
what
the
makes it expensive?
it's the getting there and staying there, the resort, the travel, the
But it's only 2 hours away. You can go back, drive back.
no car,
Oh, that's true.
no again, no Jeep Gladiator, no pickup. If that's something that you can order from Amazon and send here, that's why I want to make
I
sure
haven't.
that
I'm gonna take a look at Shopee. I think I saw one that's from China. It'll
that's
be
why
at
I'm
your
making
house in 3 to 5 days.
that's why I'm trying to help you with my address because I want to make sure
There you
that
go. Yep. I'll take care of that for you. No problem.
But quick story, that's why I moved to Cebu because
Yeah.
the ocean was like 15, 30 minutes away from where I lived.
Right.
I
Right.
could do a radio show or work at a call center
And
and then
then go to
and
the
then
beach.
be at the beach in the afternoon for
So why
almost
didn't you? Why didn't you try doing that?
I did for
I
like
know. I know, but why
two
didn't you continue it?
my son was born.
Oh, your fucking penis got in the way.
Long distance relationship, ended up deciding to move back to the Philippines,
Yeah. To
to
Manila.
Manila. Yeah, because we realized that we couldn't raise our family or our son
Like
in
that.
Cebu.
Right.
We didn't have the financial and any kind of support. So we thought that it was wisest thing to just move back. This whole podcast we've been talking about me the whole time. I apologize unless you're really making it on purpose to talk about
Yeah, I
Me,
mean,
me,
when something comes up, you ask a question if you want to ask a question. That's how you learn about it.
and
It's
that's the
it's
problem with
called a
this
conversation.
That's the problem with this conversation. I kind of feel like I have more answers than questions for you.
Well,
I'm not asking you any questions,
I'm
although
a
I have a
more
whole.
curious person, that's why. I'm curious. That's how I get to know people. That's how I learn things. Yada yada yada.
And I appreciate that. So I'm taking advantage of the curiosity. That's why I'm trying to be honest and as open with my answers as possible. But I'll have my time. I
You'll
got
have
my
your time.
answers.
It's only been the seventh episode, so who
I
cares?
have my questions for you.
Right.
You hang in there with your
Oh,
questions.
okay.
I mean, you hang in there with you have your time in the spotlight too.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. I really appreciate it. You know
But
what I
am I? What
noticed? Why is your screen smaller?
do you mean?
Like, or did you move things closer or something? You know what I mean? It's
No,
not as wide. Oh, okay.
no. Is it smaller?
It looks smaller. Did you
It's not.
face it that way a little bit more? Or
Oh yeah, I might have.
okay. That's why it looks
It,
smaller. Because I didn't see the fan before. I didn't really see that.
oh right, no, it was just angled a
Yeah.
certain way. I think I pushed the table around or whatever I might
So
have been doing.
there's another thing I want to talk about actually, which is not that big of a deal, you know. We're all over the place here, but who cares? Um, whatever happened to ABS-CBN?
Oh gosh, I'm the wrong person to ask, but the way I understand it was there was some technical thing about the lease of the building, or no, not even just the lease of the building,
I
but
thought
the
they
the
owned that building.
no, not even. It's not even just the building, but the way I understood it at that time was something about a franchise about their name. I think this is whole thing about franchise, right? Like
ABS-CBN is a
yeah,
franchise.
or maybe I could be wrong. Maybe it's a business permit, dude. I don't want to make a mistake about the details here, but
Ah,
again, just the
okay.
way that I
Yeah, yeah, no.
understood it, just the way that I understood it, little that I know about it. There's this business, let's say permit, business franchise thing that but it ran out
Right,
of for anyway. It's a normal thing, like you have this contract for 25 years, so that 25-year contract um, uh,
completes.
ran completes ran out. But the way I understood it legally was that there was something about taxes that they weren't paying for those 25 years. So
Oh,
the government was like, unless you pay these taxes, I think how Uber also got kicked out of the country. Um,
really? I didn't even know that Uber was there.
there was, but the way I understood it, again, I could be wrong about any of these things, was that they weren't technically paying for taxes. And of course, Uber was saying, why should we pay like franchise taxes because we're an app?
Right,
We're not a delivery service technically. We're a mobile phone app.
right.
We're not a ride service or whatever it is. It was that they were arguing against. But
Yeah.
point is, so they had this contract, ABS-CBN, I think, had this contract, and then it ran out, and then the government, I think, wouldn't renew it because of some questionable taxes that
Like
they
permits or what?
supposedly didn't pay for.
Ah. Because one thing I
Again,
noticed as well is a lot of these, there were so many employees that lost their job.
yeah.
Um, a lot of actors that are, I've noticed like there's like this thing that a lot of actors that was actually kind of starting off at that point are now like almost gone. You know, they're like back to having a hard life or whatever.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because of
Yeah,
that
and a
whole.
lot of them are venturing over to vlogging or
Right,
podcasting or
r-
whatever, and it's pretty
right.
interesting, even
Yeah,
even the big celebrities.
yeah.
And I was
Really,
like, wow.
really exciting times nowadays. I mean, as much as we could, bitch and moan about the pandemic and how, we're so unsuccessful with life or whatever it is. Now we're
Right.
in our 40s, blah blah blah. There's still there's still so much uncharted territory
That
and
people could venture into.
so many
Yeah.
possibilities. And as Gary Vaynerchuk so rightfully says, if you haven't figured it out by now, like you really suck. You really should probably be working in like work. We were like just working for someone. Don't be an entrepreneur, or don't be
Right.
like starting your business,
Right.
because like the answers are like right in front of you. It's on your phone. That's his whole battle
For the
cry.
younger generation, yeah, I can definitely see that. It's so
No,
hard
well,
now.
yeah, no, not just younger generation, but even for 40-year-olds like us that claim to be entrepreneurs or business
Right.
people.
I
Like it's
guess if
all
we
here. Just you have nothing to
it
complain about.
no there yeah that I agree, but again, it's gonna take so much more work for us because we're kind of behind on this. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
We're doing this thing right now. We're what, 7 episodes in? We still haven't figured out our audio. You know what I
yeah.
mean? This is something that uh, kids nowadays and their 19, 20-year-olds, they'd be doing okay now. It
But it's
doesn't
gonna
take this long.
it's gonna throw us off into another tangent here. But
Yeah.
do you have any regrets not having? Because we talked about this like 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago
Right.
about doing a podcast, catching up, recording it,
Do I
putting it
do
up
I have
online.
regrets about not starting it back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, like you said, like you just said, we discussed about this at some point randomly when we caught up 5 years ago. You know what I mean?
What
And
stopped us though? What happened?
I don't know. I think we just weren't into it yet. I mean, it's not that we're not into it. I think we were into it, but
Yeah.
our procrastination got the better of us.
Yeah, or maybe what I was saying a while ago, or the other episode was like if we did start it, we wouldn't. It was just not the right time.
Probably
At
not.
least at
Yeah.
least for my, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what can you do? I mean, you regret it, and it's not like we could turn back the time. It's about like
No,
making
I
up for it
agree.
and just moving forward. So,
I agree. And I do regret it, not starting it back then. Um, because who knows. But now, uh, I'm hoping that I can actually tell myself that I'm doing it for the right reasons.
but
As much I would like to tell myself I'm doing it for the right reason, I'm still questioning myself sometimes.
on why you're even bothering to do it.
Yeah, but then again, I am quite excited about it. You know what I mean? You could ask my wife right now. I'm always fidgeting. Let me put it to you this way. I have a $2,000 computer in front of me, my Mac that I'm using right now.
Mm,
We've had this for about 3 years now.
same here.
Uh, the past what, 3 weeks we've been doing this is the most
This
I've used it the entire time.
That's funny.
It literally sat here collecting dust.
And it's listening to ourselves talk about this. I'm also thinking like with all my regrets in life, not starting the podcast or not starting my YouTube channel and taking it more seriously is probably my only regret.
Right. I
I don't really have any regrets about not talking to this girl, or not doing this, or not getting into that. I would, and I'm that proponent of, I'd rather regret something that I did rather than regret something that I didn't do. That whole.
think now that I think about it, at one point in time, after we had initially talked about it, the interest in doing a podcast and whatnot, sitting down and having a conversation with somebody, I think it ventured into my head again, and I actually tried to do it. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
me too. Yeah, me too. But
Where
by myself. Did you ever do it by yourself, or did you
no, I
find
didn't do
another
it by
friend?
myself. I actually had a couple of friends that I talked to about this. You know,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we talked about it. We almost tried, but we never. I don't know. We never followed through with it. I don't know what it is. We never even got to recording. You know, but
Was there ever a time like I am going through it now? Were you ever like, damn, what are we gonna talk about? What value am I going to bring to the audience?
yeah, I always do.
Like, who
Even
cares
before
about
we started.
listening?
You know,
Who cares about what we've been talking about? Like nobody would listen to that.
We could say the same thing for all the other podcasts out there. Who's gonna listen to that? You know what I mean? Because everybody, as much as we would like to believe that most people only listen to this and that, that's just not the case. You know, there's a
Those
podcast out there about building chairs. Who's gonna listen to
right?
that? You see my point?
Yeah.
It could be about absolutely anything, and it's just a matter of wanting to put it there or not. And that's the scary part, you know?
So, so in other words, yes, there is an audience for every interest.
Absolutely. I believe that 100%.
The
100%.
personal brand economy kind of thing.
Right.
I guess question begs, what's our niche? What's our interest? Like, what audience are we
Uh, s-
gathering?
I think it's more like the everyday audience, everyday life type of audience. I think. I actually thought about that too, you know? Because
Average everyday loser.
maybe.
And that's like I just called our audience. That's like I just called our audience losers
Right.
or
And I just agreed to it. Yeah.
people listening
I
into
think
us.
it's more like the average people. But then again, what defines an average person? You know what I mean? It's hard
I
to just think like what our niche is and whatnot.
I like to think, at least for myself, that even if we're not talking about anything in particular, maybe it's self-serving, but I kind of
Well,
like I just like doing it.
yeah,
It was like my swimming experience. It wasn't like I was trying to swim laps, or it wasn't like trying I was trying to get from one island to the other.
right.
I just like being in the water. I just like putting on the headset. I just like being, and it's not even. Am I being a hypocrite or stupid for saying that? But that's
No,
just how I
it's
feel.
I don't think so. You know, because like to you it's more like it's a like a self-help type of thing, you know what I mean? To
Oh
me,
yeah, free therapy.
yeah. To me, in a way it is, but in a way it isn't. It's for me to be able to um express things more properly. You know, a proper outlet for my thoughts and my opinions about certain things. It could be
Right.
about your everyday life. It could be about the kind of mic that you use. Whatever. That's it. Very opinionated person, I guess, to some extent, but it's just most people don't have the outlet for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I kind of feel guilty that we don't because it's there. Just because it's there.
Why would you feel guilty about that?
Because it's kind of like knowing that there's a ocean or a mountain just outside my window
And
and
you're
not
not
going
climbing it?
outside and climbing it. Yeah.
Come on. I mean, then you got to be a little bit more realistic than that. You know what I mean? Even though we're saying that we're doing it just because we can, well, yeah, but there's a purpose why. There's
Um,
always a purpose to everything that anybody does. There's no purpose, what's the point of doing it?
but yeah, maybe I'm getting over religious saying this, but it's one of those things where God said, I created all these things for you to, take a taste of everything like a buffet. And for me, not giving, trying it out, like a chef cooking,
Right.
his dish, not trying it out might be insulting to the chef.
I don't understand what you're trying. Well, how does that equate to the conversation with what we're doing? I'm a little
Be-
confused.
because it's there. It's like the sushi chef made like this special sashimi for you to try,
But we're not trying it.
and you're not trying it. Yeah. So Noel, Jason, you got this your friend that you can talk to. You got a microphone and a headset. You guys can record.
But
What's the deal? Why don't you do
I
it?
don't understand. That's why we're doing it now.
Because it's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly my point. Because it's there.
Okay. All right. I got you now. I understand it. It's
But then again, on the flip
On
side,
the flip side,
just because you can doesn't
I
mean you
mean, you
should.
should. Yeah, that's a scary thought. That's a scary, scary thought. Now it's making me questioning what the
This
fuck
is
are we doing?
a
This
little
is a
inside story for what happened here the other day. So Jason here messaged me that, hey, I'm watching your Waze ride, and then he threw out a joke there about giving him a call while I was on the motorcycle. So I happened to be pulling over because I needed to fix something on the back, because like my camera, because I kept hitting so many potholes that I felt like my camera was, getting halo halo in the background,
right.
in the on the box behind me. So I tried to fix that up, and I was like, let me give this guy a call. Video call on the motorcycle, huh? Let's see. So
I didn't
I so
even. I was surprised about that. You
so I
know,
started the engine. I happened to be wearing the Bluetooth headset on my helmet,
right?
so no wires, and I should be able to hear you even though I'm on the road, with all the cars around me.
Were you able to hear me?
I could hear you fine. Were you able to hear me?
Yeah, I heard you completely fine.
So at the end of that like 30-second call, because he had to go, I realized how kind of dangerous that was because I was fiddling with my phone while I was on the motorcycle trying to avoid potholes.
Right, right.
So there
I mean,
there
you
came out.
shouldn't. You shouldn't be fiddling. I mean, if you have it on, you just leave it on.
I just admitted that I was on my phone while I was driving, and there it is. The that quote came out: "Just because you can,
Doesn't
doesn't
mean
mean
you
you should."
should. Yeah.
So that's the name of our. That's the subtitle of our podcast. On the flip side, just because you can, doesn't mean you should.
That's actually the title for this episode. Just because we can.
Doesn't mean you should.
I'm just writing that down. Yeah, I actually I put a like a small title to like each episode, or I'm going like or I going to I'm trying to. So the first one, I don't know if you saw, it says Inception, or maybe not.
I'm trying to avoid actually seeing our stuff online. I kind of I'm still keeping myself in a bubble here where we're just recording Zoom calls
Right. What's that?
privately and keeping it on my hard drive.
How are you gonna do that if you're gonna be uploading episodes eventually?
I'll upload them but I'll schedule them, but I probably won't watch them on YouTube or
Can
Spotify myself.
Yeah, can you actually? No, I'll take care of that later. I'll tell you that later. You know. Anyway. Oh my God, all over the place again. Jesus Christ.
Should we start wrapping up? My coffee's getting cold. Actually,
Is
it's
that
really
hip hip?
cold already. I actually have a couple of bullet points here that I wanted to ask you about. Only if there
We
isn't
we
anything else
went
that
through
you
all
wanted
of
to
mine,
discuss.
so
Oh, great, great. Okay. I was letting you take the lead this time. I wanted to bring up a couple of things, and all the other stuff can wait.
right.
But I wanted to ask you about your Jeep, man. That's why I've been
Yeah, you've kind of mentioned that a couple of times tonight.
mentioned it a few times.
What about it?
Was kind of wondering, well, aside from the fact that, it looks good and, it's matches your personality and that kind of thing, what else do you love about your Jeep? But do you tinker with it? Are you a gearhead, a gear nut, or
No, I don't really tinker with it. Honestly, it's just one of those. So, all my life, I've always wanted one, like a any kind of Jeep, right? Because when I was a kid, my dad, once upon a time, before my dad and my mom separated, we actually had one, like one of
oh,
those old
juicy?
Filipino Jeeps. You know what I mean? The
Oh,
silver
the
one.
owner. They
What?
call that the owner here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And quick reference, I bet you also didn't know this. These Jeeps that you're talking about, and I'm talking about the Filipino Jeep, the ones that we use to commute
Yeah,
here in the Jeep. I don't know. Sorry about the light. I
right,
don't know
fine.
if you know this, but that design was actually from the U.S.
Yes, from the American Army.
American Army that they
Yeah,
left here, and then the
correct.
Filipinos turned it into a Jeep. Yeah.
Yeah,
So a little history there for you.
yeah. No,
And the
I
design
definitely
just
knew that one.
the design just remained, and now, as we speak, 2023, there's been a couple of years in the government already trying to like phase them out.
Why?
You know, aside from them being, because they're dirty, and the whole system about how it's run is really old school. I mean, it causes a lot of traffic, and the way that it's run. You know, commuting here in the Philippines, there's no schedule.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm sure you remember that. There's no schedule. It's like it's just the jeepney driver, the bus driver
Oh, goes
gets
around like
just
whenever.
goes around whenever he feels like
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
if he feels, and the reason why that's happening is they don't get a regular pay. They
Right.
work on their own.
Correct.
I mean, they're their own
It's per
boss, and they're
passenger basically, and per
per
distance.
passenger. So if the wheels aren't turning and they don't decide to go out
They're
and
not
take in
earning.
passengers for that day, they're not earning.
Right.
And not just because they or if they want to take a rest day. What I'm really the clincher here really is the fact that if they don't fill up the vehicle, they don't make any money. So
Correct.
what that means is, if they feel like they haven't made any money yet, they're going to stay in the middle of the road, or usually it's causing traffic because they're still waiting for more passengers.
Right.
They're
Right.
trying to hoard all the passengers before they get the wheels turning.
Right.
Not like they're kind of on a schedule, passengers or no passengers, it
They
moves.
runs, right. Because it's in a schedule and it's easier. It's more
And
controlled that way.
because they get paid whether there are no passengers or not.
Correct. Right. No, that's
Here,
understandable.
this, they don't get paid if there are no passengers.
Right.
So they all end up like, and not the whole route, whatever route they're on, doesn't all have passengers. All passengers usually like pile up in one spot.
Right. Right.
That means all the jeepneys or the buses also pile up in that one spot,
Right. Right. I
and so they
understand.
don't, and then they don't have like terminals and that kind. It's a bit of a mess.
It's a
So
huge mess. But going back to what I was saying, that when I was a kid, once upon a time before my parents separated, my dad actually drove one. It's the actual silver one with the metal door, the U.S. Army type of looking Jeep.
nice.
So, and I remember just playing around with it all the time. That's why I've always wanted a Jeep. And then as I got older, I don't know, for some reason I've always wanted a pickup truck. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Been hanging around too many white people, I guess.
You're not the sports car fast drive fast kind of
I
guy either.
used to. Once
Mm.
upon a time, I actually drag raced like quarter miles as well.
Oh,
Yeah, like the whole Fast and the Furious crap where you're racing in the street for
yeah.
quarter miles. Yeah, I actually did that once upon a time. Um, but I I used to drive, so I bought my very first car was an Integra. So I souped it up, with the whole
Mm.
lowering it, body kit, nitrous, rolling bars, whatever.
Mm.
And then I crashed it.
Oh
So
shit.
I kind of, so I was going out on a tunnel, and this was like
Mm.
in 2 or 3 in the morning on Highway 101 in California.
Mm.
And I guess there was a median under the tunnel where there's like plants, and I guess the
Mm.
sprinklers were on, so there's water
Mm.
everywhere. And I'm going like 90 miles an hour, so my car hydroplated, and it just like spun around a couple of times, and just
Mm.
slammed on the door. I mean, on the wall,
Uh,
inside under the tunnel. You
head
know,
first.
head first the car. I mean, smashed.
Mm.
If I didn't have a roll bar around my legs, God knows. I mean, the engine would have probably shoved inside the car all the way to me and probably would have killed me. But I will
Oh.
literally, I got up, walked out, not even a scratch, nothing
Mm.
on me. I was lucky as hell. But the car, absolute totally. There was
Mm.
no way I could um, get that fixed anymore. So that was like literally the last time I did that whole racing thing. So I kind of like, I guess I got scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing it for like maybe a year and a half. where we'd go to either San Jose or to downtown, quarter mile racing for money for a couple of $100 here and there or for a couple of grand. Um, and I was always the driver. And after that crash, I stopped doing it. I kind of had like I didn't drive for maybe 3 years after that, 3 to 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I really got shook up because I got so lucky that nothing happened to me when I crashed that bad, and the car was just absolutely total.
Yeah.
But going back to my story, uh, when I got older here, I've always wanted a pickup truck too, and I wanted like not the big pickup truck. So I was shopping around, and I saw that Jeep was coming out with a Gladiator. So it's a Jeep and a pickup truck all in one. So I'm like, I need to try to get this. So I saved up. I just saved up money. Waited like a couple years until an older model came out, and then I just bought the damn thing. I get that sucks, but I love it.
Yeah. That's a good story. I mean, I can only imagine the feeling of, you worked for it, you put it
Yeah,
together yourself. You
but
practically feel like you built it with your own hands. Not the Jeep itself, the design, but the whole. I imagined it. I,
right,
I looked back at my past. What do I want?
right.
This is how I want to move forward. And you put the whole thing together. I mean, it's not something that. I guess it's what
It's
I'm.
it's kind of I'm not too.
You should be proud of yourself, is what I'm saying.
I am, but at the same time, like I'm not. Because it's I think it's too much. You know, to be honest, I
Too
love the car. I love the car to death. But now,
too too much for an everyday grinder. You mean
yes, yeah, absolutely.
like overkill?
I've had the car for like a year and a half, and I've already put like 20,000 miles in it.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot for a year. My wife's car is 3 years old, and it doesn't even have 20,000 miles in it. you know, so I think it's sometimes I don't know. Maybe I'm like spent too much money in it. I don't know. I'm regretting it a little bit, to be honest with you. Yeah,
You
it's
know the odometer on the motorcycle for me really helps in terms of experience, confidence wise,
yeah.
because because a lot of times I'm not that. I mean, I'm only a new rider, maybe 2 years now tops.
Is it an automatic or a manual?
It's a scooter. It's an automatic
So
CVT
that's where you accelerate when you twist it.
125cc scooter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's street legal.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know how big 125cc is.
Oh, they don't talk in terms of CC there.
I mean, they do, but I guess I'm just not too versed with it. Because
No, but when I
125
go,
is like a small scooter.
I would say it's
Google this
somewhere in the
shit.
middle. There are like 50 and 90cc scooters that are available now. This is somewhere in the middle, 125, 150.
So
But there
yours
are like
is
there are 300 and 400 plus cc scooters.
right, and yours is
That
125.
yeah,
Oh wow,
yeah.
that's
And
that's pretty big.
there are some YouTubers that have traveled around the world on a scooter.
Really,
Maybe a handful.
I'm actually I don't know, like because scooters here. I don't know how much are scooters over there,
Hmm.
but here you can get a pretty decent one for like $1,500.
That's still expensive.
Is it really?
But maybe I'll do the calculation later.
1,500. I can do that right now. I got my
Yeah.
phone with me. What's the average cost of a scooter there?
In pesos,
Yeah.
maybe about 75,000 pesos.
So 72,000 pesos is about $1,300, more or less.
Oh, okay.
So 55. I mean, sorry, $1,500 is 82,500 pesos. So
Yeah.
that's average, normal
So
for
roughly the same price as a drone or a good camera.
what? That's pretty
Yeah.
expensive for a drone. You can buy an amazing drone here for like $500.
Right, right, right. But like a more professional, a bigger drone.
What kind of motorcycle is yours, or the scooter?
I don't know what it's called there, but it's a Honda Click here in the Philippines. It's called a Honda Vario in Thailand, I think, or Indonesia, or they have
Click
different
like
names.
oh,
See,
100 click
yeah,
125i.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay. It's a red one, right?
yeah. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I
But
saw it in
what
one of your videos. So
just what I was saying about it, I think, was that I still feel vulnerable getting into it, and just wanted to share about how it is also with how do you get better at scuba diving just by scuba diving, like do more.
right,
So it's the same thing for me. It's like just ride, keep riding,
right.
and I that gives me a little bit of sense of pride or confidence that that I'm spending more time on the motorcycle lately.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
there's that
actually
whole
I'm
there's that
really considering getting one because well
ah,
one well I think I want one because driving the Jeep every day to work is just ridiculous. I'm spending
ah,
$60 a week on gas.
and the roads there are ridiculously nice
Yeah, yeah.
and where you're at.
Yeah, that's
So
true. I mean, on my Jeep, I'm spending roughly between 33 to 3,500 pesos in gas a week. So
right. But
if
look, if you're making enough money for it and it's practical because we could put all your stuff in the back,
yeah, but it's not that practical for my case. And I don't make that kind of
right?
money to just throw
I'm just
away 60,
I'm
$70 a week. You know what I mean?
I am actually trying to make you feel more guilty than you should.
I know. But
But yeah, be
I
ashamed
don't
of
know.
yourself.
I did see this.
I went from being you should be proud of yourself to you should be ashamed of
You
yourself,
should
Jason.
feel sorry for yourself, you bastard.
But
Um,
yeah,
what was I
that's just,
saying? I lost my train of thought.
that's the thing. I'm trying to say my thing, and you're trying to say your thing. We're not really listening to each other.
I know. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Anyway, go ahead.
No,
Go
but
ahead.
I was curious about your Jeep because aside from that backstory about your family having that
What
owner
a
before,
right.
yeah,
It's a good drive. It's a good
there's
drive.
that there's that sense of pride, I guess. Are you a
Yeah.
watch guy? Are you a watch guy also? Like, what other like
Nothing.
first world monetary materials are you proud of that you?
Nothing. I used listen, now that I'm older, I'm so frugal and cheap that I'll find a sale like 5 years ago, a nice Ralph Lauren shirt, like a polo, like a Ralph Lauren. So I found one for I
Hold
don't
on,
know, 20
hold
bucks.
that hold that thought,
Hold
ladies
on.
and gentlemen. Quick announcement:
Why?
Jason was my first and still is my only friend, I think, back in high school that was bold and comfortable enough to wear a turtleneck. That's the part that I couldn't understand. Like you're like really sporty, you like it just for some reason it just didn't fit my sort of image of what you
Stop.
were like personality wise.
Stop. Hold on. Stop. Stop. Let me finish. Let me just say something real quick. Let me just say something. You see that gray shirt right there? I took it
Yeah.
off because I thought of that you making fun of me before. That's a
What is that?
turtleneck. I'm I'm not even kidding. I took it
That's
off.
right. So you still wear turtlenecks.
It's a turtleneck, bro.
Yeah. No, and then I realized, talking to myself about you wearing a turtleneck, I just realized that, it's your own fashion sense. You're
Yeah.
just more
I'm comfortable with
you're comfortable with it, and you're a fashion guy. So between
it's
you and me, you're the more fashion conscious guy. And
But
remember, you were the one that was into sneakers.
I was, yeah, I was back then.
And not because of the functionality or the because it'll make you play basketball better, which
No,
you were a pretty good basketball player.
but
But
it
it's like,
looked
why do you?
good.
I remember asking you that. I remember asking you that. It's like, why do you buy these particular shoes? And I've kind of thought that it protects your ankle, or it helps you jump higher, or adds more stability. And
It
that's not
just
it,
looked
folks.
good. It
It
just
just looked
looked
good.
good.
Remember that
It's
all black one that you had,
yeah. I think I lent it to you.
and I gave it back.
Yes, you did. You did. I'm not. I didn't say you didn't give it back. I know you gave it back, but I know you lent it to you. But it's funny how you're talking about that because I was
That's
literally
right.
thinking earlier, I need to take this off before he makes fun of me. So I took it off and I put it right there.
Bro, no, I'm not making fun of you at all. And I'm not really necessarily questioning your fashion choices. It just
Simply
wouldn't be some.
stating.
No, no, no. I'm just sharing our differences in a sense that it just wouldn't be the first thing that I would pick up from the closet. Actually,
But
it wouldn't even be in the closet.
what I was saying is, I'm so frugal with my stuff. Like, I'm, I find so many clothes in my closet that still have price tags on it. Like
Oh,
I bought it on a sale, hung it in my closet, and never worn it. I don't know why. I think it's
that makes you
because I still
frugal.
have clothes and I'm trying to wear them out before I take off the tags and wear the new one.
Wait, say that again. You are frugal because you buy it and then you don't use it?
No, I'm so yeah. Well, I buy these clothes right when I see it on sale for dirt cheap, like like a $60 shirt. I'm gonna find it for $20, right?
I don't I don't I
I'm
don't see how that's frugal because
well
you keep
because I don't wear it until my current or my clothes currently is good to go.
so you feel like you are saving because
Correct.
you got something on sale.
Correct.
But at the end of the day you still bought it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
But
frugal because I see it and I don't buy it. That's frugal.
no, that's just proof. Yeah, you're right. It's it's, it's fucking horrible.
I mean,
Well, I used
if
to
I
have
see something, even if that Jeep, even that Jeep Gladiator is just for $1, I still spent for it. Not being frugal,
yeah.
I still paid for it.
Well, n- compared to how I used to be, if I see something I want it, that's how I used to be. That's how I have, and my wife and I are the same way. That's why we have so much junk in this fucking house. You know, like this TV behind me that was bought out of just because it came out. It's the new model. It's a 75-inch, and it came out because it was $400 cheaper. It's still $1,000, but when we bought, we just now it's literally collecting dust. We don't watch it. We have a giant. We have two of these giant TVs. There's one right there, and there's one downstairs. Okay, we
So
don't use it because we're always watching on the stupid cell phone.
how
So
does it feel? How does it feel to be talking about it right now?
it's pretty stupid. I hate it. I really hate it. If I could sell this damn thing right now, I would. But it's what 4 years old. It's considered ancient now. Nobody's gonna buy that garbage.
Why not? It still works.
Yeah, but no,
Somebody's garbage could be somebody's treasure.
you don't understand. It's maybe 3 years old. Okay, that's considered an extremely old model already. You can
Right.
buy a bigger TV with a better quality right now for cheaper than what I bought this for.
Of course, but that's why you give it a discount. Sell it for
Discount.
one fourth the price.
Nobody's gonna buy it for that. Nobody's gonna buy that for $250. It's and
Then sell it for a
if I'm
hundred.
gonna sell for $100, I might as well just keep it. You see my point?
Sell it for 50.
No, then I might as well just keep it.
No, but you're paying the guy. You're practically paying the guy to get rid of it.
Yeah,
Whoever's
but I'm
going to
not gonna
decide
do that. I mean,
to buy
it's
it.
I spent we spent a lot of money on it. It works and it's amazing, but yes, it's an older model from 3 years ago. But nobody's gonna pay $200 for that. If I can't get half of
Right.
what I paid for it, I might as well just keep it.
But the issue here is not the money and how much you spent for it. The issue here is that it's there.
You're making me sound like a fucking asshole. Seriously. Oh, this little bitch is complaining because he's got a giant TV behind him. Wah, wah. What the fuck, dude? Really?
You know what I do with stuff that I don't need?
He's, what?
I'm kidding with you because I also don't have the balls to sell stuff like that. I end
I
up just
don't.
putting it in storage. So
That's
now
even
when I go
worse.
so now when I go to the garage and I'm looking for something, I have to walk sideways because of all the stuff
See, that's
that's
even worse
packed up.
though, Like I got at one point in my life, I got into playing guitars all the time,
Oh,
right? So I don't know. It was like maybe 2, 3 years where I just kept playing guitars or whatever. Now I don't even play guitar anymore. But I have like 3 or 4 of these sitting around. I could easily sell them, but I'm like telling myself I might want to play tomorrow. What am I gonna use if I don't have it? You know?
well, that's the thing. You know what I think minimalists or anybody else might say that's in this self-help guru
Right.
space. You know, the fact that you're seeing it is like baggage
Huh?
that you don't want to let go.
Right.
Yeah, so it's more of a psychological thing aside from it being a physical, that it's taking up space in your house. Like
Yeah.
psychologically or in the back of your mind somewhere, it's there. Instead of you thinking about something else, you're thinking about the fact that you still have like three or four guitars that you're not using.
Right. I think it's more like to me it's more like on my personal stuff. Like but on our house stuff, like when we buy a couch, we can't buy a new couch if we still have the old couch. So we'll post it in Facebook and easily sell it. It's easier
Right.
to sell a couch than a guitar on Facebook, you know.
Is it?
Um, yeah, dude, we sold our old couch. We posted it, like for example, I posted now. 6 hours later, it was gone. You know.
Well, if you're not in a hurry, just post it.
Yeah, that's
And if
true.
somebody buys, and then of course you get to interview the person that's going to buy it, make
Oh,
sure that he's a legit guitar player or at least really wants to play.
I mean, that's pretty stupid. If you're gonna sell something, sell it. Get rid of it. Don't get too attached. Otherwise, keep it. See my point?
Fine.
Yeah. I also have. I, s- I swear to God, I got into playing the ukulele as well. But
Oh,
I spent like $100 on the stupid ukulele and whatnot.
Bing, 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 bing,
Right.
bing, 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 bing,
It's
bing,
right
bing,
there,
bing,
sitting in the basement,
bing,
accumulating
bing, bing,
dust,
bing,
among other
bing,
things.
bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? I'm still into my sneakers. It's pretty
Oh,
bad. Yeah.
are you collecting?
No, I just well here though. Here's the thing. I'm still on that, but I'm not like spending money on buying the expensive stuff. I'm cheap as hell. You know, if it came out today, I'll wait 2 years down the line and find it in a sale. If I can't get it under sale, I'm not gonna get it.
So what's your sneaker?
I only buy Nikes, sneaker
Huh.
wise. Yeah, it's and I don't buy basketball shoes or Jordans anymore, or none of those. No, I just buy regular walking shoes or tennis shoes or whatever. But the basketball shoes and all that crap, there's
Mm.
no way in hell you will ever catch me paying over $100 for a fucking pair of sneakers. No way. I don't. I can't justify it. No, that's a
How
good
it?
way of putting it. For me to be able to spend some money on whatever it is, it needs to be justifiable.
That's how I feel about headsets.
And that's why
Nah,
you got a tape in your headset. Nice.
right. No, I was on the radio doing my thing, and
Right.
with all the other voiceover gigs that I used to do, I was like, "Hey, I'm getting into this quite deeply. Why don't I get my own headset?"
Right.
But the funny thing about me and my buying philosophy is, and because of this whole China market thing that's going on now with all the cheap stuff,
Right.
I tend to like to quote unquote waste money on the cheap stuff first and see how they break and if I really like it to begin with,
Right.
and then I invest on the more expensive stuff.
Right.
So I just haven't gotten to that level yet with my headsets because I have like three, four, five different ones, from like Bluetooth little tiny ones that are just like in my ear
Yeah.
for the motorcycle to like different,
See,
you know.
that's the same way with me though. Like in my case, I don't understand. So, like the Apple AirPods, the little ones, the
Right.
AirPods, right? They're
Mm.
like $250. Okay.
Mm.
Well, let me scratch that out. In my case, the Samsung ones are $250 as well. There's a Samsung
Mm.
one.
Mm.
I can't justify spending that for headphones when I have this. Look,
That's right.
this. I have this. All right. It's one of these Bluetooth rechargeable ones as well. Fits in your ear.
Yeah.
Works amazingly.
Right.
It's waterproof, and I spent $20 on it. Not even $20.
Right.
I can show you my Amazon receipt. If I can
Uh,
find a good quality, if not the same for a much cheaper price, I would much rather go that route because I don't really care about the name brands and all that stuff.
except for Nike.
Yeah, that's I don't know why. I don't I don't know why. Stop. Stop
See, you
it.
bought you bought into their whole branding. Just do it, Jason. Just do
Yeah,
it.
I know. Yeah, but it's weird though. Like for something like that, I'm okay with Nike, right? But for jeans, I don't know if
Mm.
you're familiar with Old Navy.
Mm.
I don't know what it is. They're considered cheap and not good quality here, but I love it. I don't know why. For jeans,
Mm.
most of my jeans, all of them, $20.
You
Yeah.
see, for me, the whole thing that we're talking about, buying your stuff, that's fine. Like cheap, not cheap, whatever, brand, no brand, doesn't really matter. The one that bothers me about this whole buying philosophy that we have is the stuff that's accumulating.
Yeah. It's so
Just
stupid.
we're digging ourselves into a hole here.
Yeah. I mean, all right. I got a confession to make. Earlier, you asked me if I was into watches.
uh,
Uh, I'm in my computer desk, and there's literally five, six watches right next to me, just sitting there, collecting dust. I don't I don't wear watches anymore. I mean, I don't do any of that stuff now. I used to. Okay, that's my point. And I've changed. I'm not the same person. But what am I gonna do with it? Here, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna just get rid of all of
oh
these.
no.
I mean, I've got digital watch. I've got a watch that my wife gave me. I got another whatever this is, whatever that is. Look, 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 look. G-Shock from the Philippines or whatever that is.
Made in the Philippines, you mean?
No, it was purchased. Oh no, I'm sorry, not G-Shock. Bench.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that is a local brand, right?
yeah, Bench. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Bench. But that, yeah, no, I have like six watches here, just on my right next to me collecting dust. There's probably another six upstairs. It's so stupid. I don't know. These
The
are
watch
old,
that
by the
I'm
way. I'm not saying that these are all news that I just bought it last week. No, no, no. These are old. They're I just don't get rid of them anymore because my point is I'm not spending money like that anymore, because I don't have it to begin with. I
the
bought
watch
a lot of these. from money that I probably didn't have. I just charged it on my credit cards or whatever.
You see this Casio water resistant piece of plastic that I'm showing on the camera right now?
Nice.
My uncle, balikbayan, visiting from I think Sacramento. I don't remember where he's based. He said he got this at a Walmart for $12.
Oh no.
I saw the price tag, and
Nah.
I've been using it for the past like 5, 6, 7 years.
Oh my God.
I've gone scuba diving with it.
Oh really?
Yeah. And and that's a big deal because it says it's water resistant, meaning it's not really supposed to be
It's not
for
supposed to be
diving.
waterproof.
Yeah. And
There's
it's
a
still,
difference. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't have that heavy duty
Casing.
gasket in it,
Yeah.
casing on it or what, but $12, Walmart. And I saw the price
And
tag. The
see.
only thing that had to change with it was the strap.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather have a more um, expensive, like heavier, more manly kind of watch. But aside from the fact that I couldn't afford it, there's something funny about having something that is $12,
Yeah. No,
500,
honestly, it makes me
500
feel like a
pesos
jerk off. I feel like a jerk off because if
for having accumulated all that stuff.
yeah, because I should be able to sell it, but it's just there's sentimental values to it. It's like
A businessman told me one time, the problem with sentimental value is that there's no value.
you're an asshole.
That's what
That
I told him. I was complaining to him about the
Jesus.
same thing.
That's just crazy. The
And
which
the important thing there is that this is coming from a businessman.
right.
There's no value in
That's
sentimental value.
yeah. I feel like a complete asshole right now. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Good talk. Good talk. We should do it again.
That's where the podcast ends today. We'll catch you on the next episode of The Flip Side.
Jesus. I feel like I don't know. I'm like speechless all of a sudden. It's so
Since
sad.
we're going down that sad route now. A while ago we were on, memory lane with high school and everything. Maybe next time or one of these days we'll talk about our parents' separations. But let's
Nah,
note that down
nah.
somewhere.
Uh, I,
Not
I,
something you want to get into?
not right now. I got some
No,
anger
no,
issues with that.
not right now, of course, but
Okay,
someday.
okay. All right. Yeah,
What do you imagine us talking about aside from catching up and shit?
anything really. I mean, we just literally talked about watches. You know
What
what
is
I
it
mean?
about the watches that you I mean, is there anything collectively or similar as far as, let's say, your Jeep is concerned with your watches and your shoes, aside from them all being colored black? Is there anything about the branding or the way they're
Yeah,
built or whatever
it
that
it it has to be a certain like yes, I do have a lot of these watches here and there. Three of
Hmm,
them are gifts from my wife.
okay. So
Hi, baby.
are
So I
are
didn't
are you a
necessarily spend my
victim
own.
of you calling yourself a victim now
Stop. They can
for
probably
having
hear. Uh,
accumulated all this stuff?
I am a victim. I'm a victim of a disgraceful. No, I'm trying to. I'm trying to make myself look a little bit better here, dude. That's so sad. I don't know
You know
why.
the stuff that I am hoarding and collecting these days. Or no, not just these days, the past years. Office supplies,
Paper clips?
paper clips, masking tape, notepads that I don't even use.
Why? Is there a reason?
I just feel like I'm ready. If any good idea comes up, I'll be like ready. And I've had this like little I can't even say that it's little. It's like a 3, 4 story stack shelf of just all these school supplies, office supplies. that I'm not even using. Like everything is like digital now and on my computer, right?
Right.
But like I have a whole stack of like notebooks that I'm not using or have barely used and haven't continued to use. One whole bunch of scissors, clips, pencil, ball pens that I don't even use.
Those pens probably don't even work anymore.
And to think that, there are families, there are students, there are kids looking for their own notebooks that they can't take to school.
Right.
And here I am hoarding them at home.
How disgraceful can you be? I mean, these are kids who are probably lost in time, who probably needs a watch that I can give them.
So,
Whatever.
and there are people like doing like life-changing podcasts, like talking about, how therapy changed their lives or how
Shiny their black Jeep Gladiator is.
to avoid toxic relationships or how to build a better life and work on your calendar, like be productive. But here we are talking about what? No, serious question though. What kind of podcast do you usually listen to? Or
Me?
what kind of content do you usually just consume? Yeah.
Uh
Let's try to figure out a way to wrap this up already, but that's for me I'd be happy if we ended it somewhere there
yeah.
along those
Well,
lines.
there's two things really. I mean, I like one of the biggest or the longest podcast that I've listened to and followed is the Michael Mayer show. I mean, it's supposed to be a entertainment comedy podcast, right? But they
Mm.
also touch base on a lot of just day to day normal stuff. You
Mm.
know,
Which
I like
I guess that
how
inspires you. That's your inspiration for what we're doing also now.
no, no, not at all. Honestly, my inspiration of why we're doing or why I'm doing this right now is
Mm.
watching those three vloggers, like I've said before. Kulas, who's
Oh, right.
becoming Filipino, Commander D as Commander Dot, or Anselm as his
Yeah.
real name, and
Yeah.
Boy P, Boy Porcelain. Um, they're completely different. They have a completely different way of approaching things, especially on how they're trying to express their
Mm.
storytelling. But what I like the most that they all have very similarly is they're expressing their or sharing their storytelling through their own personal point of view, through their own personal experiences. Even though the paths are different, some of
Mm.
them being hard, some of them being easy, whatever it may be,
Mm.
one way or the other, it connected to me in a sense that I want to be able to do at least even to one person, maybe, you know,
Mm.
to be able to connect to that person and that person feel possibly feel how I feel in regards to what those three did for me. They opened up my eyes to try to find the better me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they did it in their own different
L-
ways. It's not
let me let
necessarily
me
about specific things.
let me let that sink in for a second before I comment on it. But for me, what I appreciated about what you shared was that they were doing it sort of unapologetically,
Oh,
or that
absolutely.
or that they had the balls to do it. Like
Mm.
I'm kind of living my life, watching them sort of living my life vicariously through them. That like, man, I wish I had the balls to. I wish I had the guts or the confidence to share
Mm.
my videos, my thoughts and feelings also.
Yeah. Well, I
And then
mean,
so
absolutely. I
so
feel that
so
way
it lead
too.
so it leads me to think like, dude, why am I not like open to sharing my thoughts and feelings and that whole vulnerability thing again?
Right.
And then it circles back to, you know, jumping in the pool, being so confident about it, and then panicking as soon as I realize that my feet aren't touching the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a risk because it's something that almost everybody is afraid of. It's the unknown, you know. not being
Yeah,
able to touch the floor if you don't know what's underneath there.
yeah.
Is
And the thing
somebody
was, I
going
thought
to be able to grab hold of you and hold you? You know?
the funny thing about my experience with that near drowning experience on the pool was I thought I could outsmart the pool in a sense that, oh, if it's too deep, I'll just go to the bottom and then push back up.
Right. Right.
But I tried to sink and my body was just I
Never touching the bottom. Yeah.
couldn't touch the bottom. I didn't have the energy to try to touch the bottom. I remember I could see it, but I wasn't like, and then I didn't have enough air, or I wasn't strong enough to, swim down, or not even heavy enough, physically heavy enough to sink down so that I could push back up.
Right.
And yeah, so good thing my cousin was there walking by, saved me. Of
Right.
course, he still had that look, was like, "You okay? Need any help?"
And you
And then
and you're all right.
I had that classic, you know, Filipino mom response was like, "Hey, why are you jumping in the water? I told you not to."
Yeah. Yeah.
So aside from me being traumatized by the fact that I couldn't breathe and felt like drowning, I got reprimanded for it. And
Like it's your fault for
yeah, because
almost
like, yeah,
dying.
I told you not to be jumping in the.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, see, you think you're so good at swimming, and then wait, where were we going with that? Oh no, because I was asking you the uh what we're gonna be talking about.
Like what else are we gonna be talking about besides catching up and all that stuff?
No, but I remember saying something about let's try to wrap it up with this topic.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Oh, we
That's what
could
the
wrap
question
up.
was.
We could wrap up with this topic about where, um, where. What else are we gonna talk about besides catching up? Who knows? I mean, that's where we'll figure that out when we figure that out. When it
You,
happens, it
you,
happens.
you
That's
know
why
what
we
I
have bullet
enjoy?
points, man.
What I enjoy most about doing this with you is that I kind of realize that I'm not as far behind or as effed up as I thought I was. Like relating with you with all your effed up quirks and lack of taste
Right.
and frugal habits.
It's
It's interesting to find out that halfway across the world, it's
there's
not
another
as
there's another you.
no, not even
Oh.
that. Not even that. I wouldn't go as far as saying that, but it's just that we have our own mountains to climb, I suppose,
Yeah.
to put it so ever so mildly.
But sometimes the path is the same way, even though you're climbing different mountains.
Yeah,
Hmm.
man, that's
That's a thinker, huh?
yeah. Let me try to get some air there. That was a little deep. Let me try to
Can you
grab
can
some
you reach
air.
the bottom?
Can't reach the bottom, but I know how to swim. I could just float. Let me just try to.
So, how do you when I was when I learned how to swim, my dad just picked me up and tossed me in the deep end without telling me what to do. He literally picked me up, tossed me in the deep end. That's it. I couldn't figure out the only way I know how to like thread water at that time was like doing like doggy style or doggy paddle to try to
Right.
paddle your way all the way to the wall. You know,
How did that
well,
make you feel?
it made me feel like shit because my dad was like saying, "No, you need to thread water. If you can't
Mm.
thread water, you won't be able to go anywhere, do anything." So I paddled myself to the wall. I'd get up, he'd pick me up again and throw me back in. That's it. That's how I learned how to swim, you know? And that's how I learned that no matter how hard you jump in, most of the time actually, you will always feel the bottom because you have to feel the bottom to be able to get back up.
Yeah, but my
That
experience was
equates to
I
everything
couldn't
in life.
feel the bottom at all.
So that means you're still falling right now. That means you're still searching the bottom right now to be able to to find the right way up. Think about
But I
that.
realized on the flip side, touching the bottom and kicking back up was not the answer. The answer was to tread water,
No,
was to learn how to swim. And
no, that's not the answer. You're misinterpreting your own train of thoughts there. If you think about it, learning to tread water is just learning to stay afloat. If you're not able to understand the bottom, no matter what it is that you're doing in life, it's going to be extremely tough to get back up. Realizing that the first step in fixing any kind of issue or problem is realizing that there is a problem. Sometimes you need to go down to be able to realize it before you can get back up to fix it.
I'm gonna have to rewind this tape and watch it again before I can give you any reaction to whatever you just
What?
said. I'm not gonna.
Well, let me put it this way. I wasn't talking about swimming.
That just flew by. That just flew over me like. Meow.
it it has something to do. I'm gonna let you stew on this for a couple of days. Um, it has something to do with something that we've talked about a couple of times in different aspects in the last couple of episodes. That's it. You know.
I'll let it stew for a couple of days. I'll
Yeah,
let
you
it
should.
breathe for a couple of days.
Anyway, so it was an interesting conversation today. It
I'm
was
I'm glad I was able to bring up the turtleneck reference. I've been
yeah,
dying to
appreciate it, man.
bring that up. I was in the car the other day thinking about that, and I was like, had a little giggle to myself, like, yeah, Jason was wearing a turtleneck back in high school.
And well, thank you for reminding me who Leslie was. I kind of
Why?
got lost. I lost track. I really forgot who she
No, no, no,
was.
but why was it such a like need to know kind of topic? It's
No,
funny that you
because
mentioned
you
it.
know when you're trying to picture somebody and you can't really remember how
Uh,
they are.
yeah.
Because the biggest thing that I remember about her is me opening the sliding door and you making out with her on the floor. That's it. You know, and that's not even the weird part there. The weird part on that thought to me is why aren't you guys making out on the couch when it's right there? You're on the floor. I mean, that's even the weird part. You know what I mean? It's so stupid sometimes. The tr- the train of
All the
thought goes
all
everywhere.
the funny things that you remember that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, well, um,
Good stuff.
good
Good
stuff. It
stuff.
was a good episode today, or a good conversation today, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. Um, next show is going, or next episode is going to be in 3 days, 2 days. Um, yes, episode 2 will be uploaded on Saturday. It's going to
So
be
we're
in,
what, 5, 6, 7 episodes ahead of what's uploading?
yeah. But no, this Saturday, there's going to be 2 episodes that's going to upload. Episode 2 uploading at 12:01 a.m. Episode 3 uploading at 12:01 p.m.
Tja,
Saturday.
I'll leave it up to you, man.
Yeah,
As
I'll
long
take
as
care of
we're enjoying, we'll do it.
it. Yep.
And it's
All
funny
right.
that I was thinking we'd be doing this for an hour, but it's been fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. Again, my name is Jason. That's Noel, and listening to the flip side with Jay and Noel. We'll see you next time.